The holidays are a time for celebrations, gatherings, and gifts, which means it's the season for proper etiquette.
Whether it's a casual affair or lay out all the dishes kind of affair, we want it to be enjoyable, be on our best behavior.
An etiquette expert explains how to help your kids learn polite behavior and some reminders for adults, too. And we talk about how to navigate tense situations with the family.
But as a host, try to steer conversations where they're calmer or they're more jovial or upbeat rather than the downers.
Also, how much do you tip? We talk about holiday tipping. Who should get a little extra this time of year if you don't want to be rude? That's today on Mom Squad. Everyone, thanks for joining me on Mom Squad. I appreciate you taking the time to watch because I know this time of year, time is precious. We are so busy as parents. There are gifts to buy, parties to attend, families to wrangle together. And it's the time of year we are constantly whispering in our child's ear, did you say please? Did you say thank you? Well, 'tis the season to teach proper etiquette. Because this is a topic we all talk about as parents, I'm bringing in producer Jenny Jordan on this one because we have little kids that we are still teaching etiquette lessons to. How do you think it goes for your family over the holidays?
It's tricky, you know. I'm always so proud of them when they do it. And then it's always the prompting, and what do you say? What do you say? But I also think it's funny because it's also that time of year where we teach them about white lies.
Oh, true.
When we're like, you need to say thank you, even if it's something you already have at home. You don't tell them that you already have it, you know? And it's so cute. My daughter will be like, oh, great. I needed 2 of these. And we're like, oh, you know, busted, right?
Right.
So it's sort of funny that we're always like, you know, say please, say thank you, be grateful, but don't tell them you already have it. Or if you don't like it, don't say it.
Yeah. Or it's, you know, also like the meal times. I feel like being at people's houses or whether it's a family member or a friend, those meal times, like that's where they're always kind of tripping up on like, okay, did you say thank you? Don't say you don't like what you're eating.
Yes.
I don't like this. I don't want any of this. You know, like that kind of behavior, or just even proper, what do you call it? Like, how do you act in somebody's house?
Right, and that's what, it's funny because, you know, I always laugh, like, my mom is a very traditional, like, you sit there, I'll get your plate, don't stand up, don't stand, you know? Whereas we teach our kids, you take your plate to the sink whenever it's empty, you know? It's germ time, wash your hands, and it's just, different people think of different things, you know, and it's sort of like, what do you do?
How do you handle all of this? It's not just a matter of saying please and thank you like we've been talking about. There are some etiquette rules that we all need to follow to show our gratitude during the season of giving. Some of these rules are obvious, and these are according to etiquette experts at the Emily Post Institute. First, arrive on time, and if you're going to be more than 15 minutes late, you should text. I've definitely broken that rule. But you should also put away your phone when you arrive. The Institute says you should consider yourself unavailable when you're a guest and not answer calls. Be considerate of their home. Don't put feet on the furniture. Use a coaster for drinks, and leave the bathroom neat.
What?
Yep. Don't overindulge. So that goes for wine or food. Say thank you twice, first when you walk in the door, and then again when you leave. You're an even better human if you send a thank you note. So I don't know if you've ever sent a thank you note after the holiday meal. I can't say that I have.
I can't say that I have, but I do try to maybe send a text the next day, like especially if we all took a picture together, I'll send it and be like, thank you so much, we had so much fun. You know, especially for those people that go above and beyond and out of the way, you know. I feel like I'm grateful that I have a pretty good group of like mom friends that when we're hanging out, it feels more like a hangout than a party where you would need an invite and a thank you and a thank you. But for those people that are like, oh, they had a craft center set up for the kids and every kid took home socks, or, you know, those sorts of things. I always try to make sure to, really show my gratitude.
So true. Yeah. And then also just, with the being a good guest, the coasters, don't put the feet on the table. Yes. Like it's crazy that we have to remind people of those things. Now, those are just a few of the best etiquette practices, but not everything is always by the book. Sometimes you get into tricky situations with family and you want to decline an invitation or break a tradition. And sometimes your kids aren't behaving the way they should. We brought in life etiquette expert Juliet Mitchell, known as Miss J, to walk us through what we need to know this holiday season. Miss J, this is the season where etiquette comes to the forefront. We are all wanting to make sure that we have our most polite behavior when we're going to parties, when we are gifting, when we are receiving. Do you find that that's true, that this is the season where we are finding the most etiquette missteps?
I would say so. From Thanksgiving all the way to New Year's, we're in the celebratory, let's get together with family, friends, coworkers, and we want to be our best, whether it's a casual affair or lay out all the dishes kind of affair. We want it to be enjoyable, be on our best behavior.
Right. And this is the season that whether it's a dinner, whether it's a Thanksgiving, a Christmas, a Hanukkah dinner, or a holiday party, there are a lot of events to go to. As a guest, what should we be keeping in mind?
The first thing is once the invitation comes, let the people know whether you're coming or not coming. Or if you have to arrive late, check with the host and say, if it's okay, I have another fare, I get off work, whatever that situation is. And if they say, yes, that's okay. Otherwise, they may say, we have a hard start and a hard stop, so maybe we can get together another time, and be okay with a no.
Is there a certain time frame where you should be responding to an invitation?
In this crazy busy world we have now with, managing ourselves, our kids, our work, and all these things, sometimes we forget. The best thing, soon as you get it, respond to it if you can, right? And there's usually a time frame, respond by. So mark your calendar, put it on your phone as a reminder that if you don't do it right away, do it as soon as you can and give yourself the reminders, because the host has to plan for your arrival, for the space even.
Some of those invitations are a little vague, saying, we're having a holiday party, please come, 7:00, etc. And then I always, as the guest, have a question, what do I bring? Do I bring something? So how do you suggest that somebody as a guest would approach that, of offering to bring either a dish or then maybe a gift?
You just said it. When you get an invitation like that, I call that a casual invitation. If they don't say anything, in my mind, they have it all covered, I'm showing up. But as a polite guest, I will ask, is there a certain theme? Can I help bring something? How can I support you? And if they say, no, I got it all covered, or would you bring a dessert? So be prepared for a yes, you can help, and be prepared for a no. But in either case, if you know that person, a host gift is still a nice thing to do. But the thing about the host gift is for the host. So if you're bringing some food to share, then you're bringing food to share. If you're bringing something for the host, then it's for them and it may or may not be shared.
So what do you recommend as a great host and or hostess gift?
Well, it used to be in the old days, a bottle of wine and flowers. We have to be careful about whatever we bring because allergies and sensitivities are at an all-time high with fragrances and with flowers. And who knows who's monitoring their alcohol intake, so wine may not be the thing. Your relationship with the person will kind of drive what you bring. And if you don't know them well, you can keep it pretty general. I love a box of thank you cards. Not a whole lot of stuff that's going to sit around with some significance of meaning. Gift card to a restaurant or coffee shop. So knowing that person, knowing what they like, and you can find out anything these days on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Try to think about that relationship, what that person likes, and make that gift meaningful.
So then as the host,
Mhm.
As we are preparing invitations or extending invitations, what do you think are best practices?
Give yourself time. Give yourself time saying, when do I want to have this? Where? What time? Think about all of those things that you need to know in order to get ready. Then your guests need to know those same things. As a matter of fact, I'm putting together a package for kids. And Maya, which is my granddaughter, we're having a series of etiquette books. And now we're on Maya Hosts a Tea Party. So what do? When are we going to have the tea party? Do we have a theme? Where is it going to be? What time is it going to be? Everything you need to know, your guests need to know. That's why invitations are so important. I know we use a lot of applications now. Sometimes we just send out the text message. And if we really amp it up, like a wedding or something formal, then a written invitation is still important. But the key is to give them all the information they need. If it's not in your home, or even if it's in your home, where can you park? A lot of people live in condos and associations. How do you access it? All of those details are important to cut down on frustration and get that person there in a good mood.
At the beginning, you mentioned for the guest that if they had to come late, to ask the host. Now, let's put ourselves in the host or hostess's shoes where a guest has said, I'm coming probably halfway through the party. And let's say that that's not okay. How do you politely navigate saying that's not going to work for the event that I'm throwing?
I think you just said it.
Yeah, it's as simple as
Maureen,
that. I always feel so rude though. Saying,
it does. It feels uncomfortable. And it's feel uncomfortable. Maureen, I'm sorry, that's not going to work for this event. So I'd really like to get together with you another time, or when I host the next event. I hope that you can be there. That's And as a polite guest that cannot come, just take it in stride and say, yeah, I'm sorry as well. I hate I'm going to miss it, but yes, we can do it another time. Be okay with not being there. Now, most of the time, people are probably going to say, okay, you might miss hors d'oeuvres. You might miss half the dinner, because some places are not going to give you the meal late. It's all on time and it's all planned. So be okay with not having all of the meal. Be okay with just dessert.
I've hosted holidays for years with my family, and I always joke, it seems like an obstacle course sometimes when you're the host, because I feel like throughout the evening you have people coming up. It's so funny. I've said to my family, it seems like people ask for the most random things, where it'll be like, do you have, and it'll be like nail clippers or something that you did not expect to have prepared and ready. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, do I have, a towel this size for whatever they're needing? How do you prepare as a host and keep that grace throughout the evening or the event?
Well, plan. Get everything laid out as best you can and incorporate help. If you have a family or someone you live with, even if you live alone, maybe you have that bestie or relative that's going to be around, because it's hard hostessing by yourself, especially if it's a bigger crowd. When it's family, you're not going to be as formal, but you know each other. You said, you know what, you can look in there and get it yourself. Otherwise, just said, I can't get it right now, and keep it flowing. But if you have your plan where everything's prepared, and you have some help. Now, if you can afford to, and you have the space, maybe hiring some help so that you can focus more on your guests.
Very true. Something else that comes up during the holidays, and this might be asking you as an etiquette expert and having you play a little bit of psychologist here, but families, there always is some tension or some baggage. I mean, families just come with a lot of emotions.
Yes.
How do you recommend somebody navigate, let's say they want to break a tradition or they want to start a new tradition? How do you go about that when it comes to family and sensitive situations?
Okay. First of all, just everybody needs to check themselves. You know that you like being around a lot of people. You know that you are a loner. you know that you're a social butterfly, whatever the case may be. And some people love controversy. They love the energy of a good argument. You might try to have a conversation with that person. Uncle Joe, now you know Aunt Maureen is going to be there, and you guys always can you lighten up this year? They may take what you said and throw it out the window. Mm-hmm. They might just be ready for that. But as a host, try to steer conversations where they're calmer or they're more jovial or upbeat rather than the downers. So navigating those conversations and guiding people through, having some activities, and then deliberately pairing people. So we think about that. Okay, Aunt Joe and Aunt Maureen, they can't be together too long. So Uncle Joe, come over here and talk with. So having you doing that and also having your ally to help you navigate that as well.
Interesting. So in that situation, do you almost go a little bit more formal and assign seats at the dinner table and say, hey, we're going to go really fancy this year. We're going to assign.
Uncle Joe may still dismiss you. Maureen, you know I sit here every year, and this is where I'm going to sit. Just let him sit. Now, you could up that by doing name, place cards and making it fun, having a little game with it. Might be some resistance, but you do it once. So next year, you guys, we're going to do it again. So like anything else, it becomes what you do because you're changing a tradition, or you said everybody for themselves. But make sure the children are served. Mm-hmm. Because children's little hands get all over things and, there's coughing and sneezing and wiping noses. So watch those things, have some sanitizers and some wipes around. Mm-hmm. So serve the kids at a certain age and serve the elders if they want to be served. Independence is important with elders. I'm getting there. So if a person has some problem navigating with a cane or a walker, can I help you? They may say, no, because they figured out how to do it. But if they say, yes, please, then get in there and help them.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, Miss J talks about how to handle that awkward moment when someone gets you a gift, but you're empty-handed. Welcome back. We are talking about proper etiquette during the holidays. Jenny Jordan is with me. Our expert, Miss J, is just about to go into how to handle kids during the holidays. Are yours on their best behavior at someone else's house? Have you paid attention?
I think the worst part is I don't notice maybe some of the things that we don't correct at home. Like you said, coasters. We don't use coasters at home. So my kids wouldn't even know that they needed to use it. So you don't notice it till I'm at someone else's house and they're running around their house and about to break fight. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you could do this at home with the dog or, but you don't notice it till you're at someone else's house.
The only time I noticed, because somebody said it, a family member hosted one time, I'm not gonna name who it is, hosted, and then was really kind of thrown and upset that the kids didn't clean up after themselves. Like they played in an area and the toys were all over the place. And I was like, oh gosh, usually at a play date, I tell them help clean up the toys. So now I make sure, I tell the kids make sure you're cleaning up the toys or whatever. But at my house, when I host, I haven't noticed. And I think that that's part of partying. So I guess it always depends. Anyway, well, listen to what Miss J has to say about it. You mentioned kids, and I think this is the perfect time of year to be emphasizing proper etiquette and politeness with children. Where do you think, do we have a conversation before all of the holiday season events begin with the kids, and what does that look like?
Well, have that conversation all along because kids, they're learning and they're developing all the time, and they learn quickly. If you make sure, so we're having dinner at home. Let's play a little game. Let me show you how to hold a fork. Let me show you how to ask. And so practice those things, I would say, over the couple of months before, to say that this is going to be a special time. So make it special, make them feel a little grown up and special, and teach them those skills. How to say their name, how to say another person's name, maybe how to shake hands and greet, how to sit in a chair. And you're not running all over Aunt Maureen's house because we don't do that. No jumping on the furniture. Kids will do that. they got a little bouncy place, they're going to jump on it. So going over the rules, so to speak, of how we are to be in someone else's home because we are guests.
Mhm. Yeah. And then the thank you. We work all year on please and thank you. And then I know some of the producers and I were joking, we all have little kids. There's always that awkward situation where maybe the child has gotten a gift that, a toy that they already have. And it's happened in our household where it's, oh, thanks, but I already have this. How do you prepare? What language do we give the kids for showing appreciation?
It's another thing to practice on. You tell little Johnny that so and so is going to get you a gift. It may be, or if you get a gift that you already have, it's okay to say you already have one, but show some joy, appreciation for it. Aunt Maureen, I already have this gift. And maybe, is it okay if I give it to someone else? Or it's okay. Is it okay if I change it for something else? Who would say no, right?
Right.
I hope no one would say no. Sorry to disappoint you, but mom got me this last month. So I'm that type person now. Regifting is perfectly okay. To say you have this already as something very similar, but can I give it to another kid who's in need? We donate to our church group. Is it okay if I give it there? Who would say no?
True. What about at the dinner table? What kind of reminders do we give the kids about sitting down at a holiday family table?
Practice sitting before you go. So many of us, and me included, we sit in front of the TV, we casually do it. But sometimes I said, we need to eat dinner at the table today. So practice before you go, show them the place setting. And here's the deal, the place setting is usually the same wherever you go. I went to a big summit in Virginia this summer, people from all over the world. So you had all these different cultures at the same table. Guess what? The tables was laid the same way because we have this agreement on how the table is laid out. If it's kind of buffet and you pick up your utensils, that's fine. Show your child and yourself how to lay them and how to use them. Which foods are okay to use your hands with? Which foods you need a knife and fork? How do you cut? And please don't stuff your mouth with food, just one bite at a time. It's not going anywhere.
Right. Let's get to gifting because that's another big part of the holiday season. Do you have any advice on who do we get a gift for and where do we draw that line? Like, is there any way to tell within a relationship that this deserves gifting and this does not?
Thing almost has run amok. It really has. I mean, people way overdue. You have to think about your budget, your income. You have to think about your life, your lifestyle, your values. There's a whole lot go into it. And if you have a big family or a big friend circle, it's almost impossible to get a gift for everyone. So some people have declared no gift parties. Someone still break the rules and bring a gift.
Right.
I wanted you to have this anyway. That's okay. Thank you very much. Put it aside. If it's a gift exchange where everyone gets a gift, then try to keep that in context. You guys, this is our limit. Someone going to spend over the $50, but that's on them because you've already decided. So don't be disappointed if you spent $75 and you get a gift that's $50 because you know the value of it. It's the thought that counts, and it's engaging in the activity, engaging with the people for the exchange. If you're going to get gifts for 2 or 3 people, you might as well get one for the household. If you can't afford individual gifts, what can this family use? That kind of thing is important as well.
What do you do in the situation? I've gotten caught in a situation where somebody has shown up, they've given me a gift, and I didn't think to get them a gift. And so it seems very one-sided. I think it's always more awkward when you're the one who is empty-handed. I know I never feel bad when I've given the gift, but it's always just a little bit of an awkward feeling. How do you navigate that?
It is awkward and uncomfortable, but you just started by saying the first thing is to acknowledge it. I appreciate the gift, but I'm sorry I didn't get you anything. And the person could say, oh, that's okay. I just want you to have it. Oh, I feel so bad about it. But don't go on and on about it. That makes that other person uncomfortable. Receive the gift, thank them, acknowledge what they did. And then at another time, because you're not going to conjure up a gift all of a sudden, but maybe a couple of weeks down the road, maybe their birthday, you do something special. I wasn't able to get you anything, or I was so caught up during Christmas, but I want you to have an extra special birthday and do it at birthday time or whenever that is.
Right. Because that's what I always worry about. If I go and get a gift like a week later, does it seem genuine? But
Yeah.
that wording is what you recommend?
I do. Acknowledging the first part of it. Thank them, acknowledge the gift, say I'm sorry, that I forgot or I've just been busy. Sometimes a person have it in their mind, but you just don't do it. And maybe they can't even afford it. Who knows what the reason is, but just acknowledge it didn't happen. Thank them and just come on in. Let's have some coffee or food or whatever the case may be.
Thanks again to Miss J. After the break, 'tis the season for tipping too. The holiday tipping is out of control, or is it part of the etiquette surrounding the holiday season? We talk about it. Welcome back to Mom Squad. As you are budgeting for the holiday giving season, have you left some cash for tipping? Every year for me, it's an afterthought. I always forget the rules. But on the other hand, a lot of people think tipping is out of control. Producer Jenny Jordan is joining me on this one. I feel like we talk about it every holiday season. Who do you tip? Who don't you tip?
I don't know.
Right? And we talk about it every year.
Yes. And I think it's one of those things, it's almost like when you're making your list of who you buy for, you got to add those people in.
Yeah.
You got to remember the hairstylist, the nail tech, the garbage man, the postal carriers, things like
I don't ever remember the garbage men, and how do I catch them?
I'm always worried
Do I tape it to the garbage can? What do I do? Do you tape
I put it in a gift bag, and I usually hear it honk honk because I am home a lot of times at that time.
Yeah.
And I'll hear honk honk, and I know they got it.
Oh, good.
Or if I know we'll be home on garbage day, send my kids out, and they love that because it's like very exciting to see
mine
them.
come like while the people are still sleeping, so I'd have to tape it and hope that nobody drives by and takes a gift bag or a gift card.
It is a little tricky. It's
that
very
one is tricky. And then the amounts are always something that people talk about. So nannies are typical one session or 1 week's pay, and that goes for daycare too. A daycare staffer might be 25 to 75 depending on how many hours your child is in this person's care each week. But like a nanny, what I used to do when we had a nanny, I would pay them but then also give them a week off.
Yes.
So I had already factored that into our budget where it was like I was going to be paying them anyway, but I gave them a week's vacation.
Yes. I think that's good. And maybe a little gift with that.
Yes.
Or something like that too. But yes. I think that's different. I think, we're going to talk about hairstylists, things like that. They say like a whole
hairstylist, colorist, barber, the cost of one service. Ladies, if you have yours, that's a couple $100 sometimes. Like to double that cost around the holiday season is tough.
That is tough.
What do you do?
I've always doubled my tip. So I tip 20%, so I'm tipping 40%, I guess, and that's just sort of what I made up in my head.
Yeah.
There's no etiquette book for that, I guess, but that's just what I feel like I'm able to give, right? Because part of it is tipping is what you can give. You can't.
Yeah. I always leave a bigger tip whenever it is around the holidays. Home health aide, in-home caregiver, if you're taking care of your parents, 1 week's pay. House cleaner, 1 visit. A landscaper or groundskeeper, or even snowplower is 1 session.
Okay.
So I didn't even think about, I don't know, we do have somebody help mow the lawn. Yeah. But they're gone by early November. How do I see them?
That. Yeah, it used to be like the paper boy. I remember my mom would have something for the paper boy. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that, but I'm sure it's appreciated. Yeah. And they work hard.
Manicurist, pedicurist, somebody you see regularly, that's 1 session. Personal trainer, 1 session. I don't have one of those, maybe in the new year.
Hit us up.
Pet sitter, dog walker, groomer, 1 session. Okay. So all of these, but trash collectors, you brought that up, that is typically about $10 to $30 each. And same for the mail carriers, like I always stick something in the mail box for them.
Right. Yeah, I do too. And then sometimes you're like, but wait, is that my normal mail carrier? Do they give it to the right people? I don't know.
I know.
I always think of that.
Hopefully you catch them when they're not on some sort of PTO.
Yeah, time off. They work so hard over the holidays. They're there, oh my gosh, making rounds and rounds of trips.
I know.
My Amazon delivery driver should probably just join us for Christmas.
I've had friends leave snacks or water bottle or something out for the Amazon delivery or whatever delivery people. Nice. I should do that. When I've had extra candy or something, I've left that out. Like,
oh, that's a good idea. Yeah,
so that's a good way to like thank them. For
yes, I'm going to do that this year. Yeah.
All right, we are going to be better humans this holiday season. Jenny, thank you so much. We also take tips on Mom Squad, but we will settle for you joining us on our Mom Squad with Maureen Kyle Facebook page or on Instagram @Mom Squad Show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you back here next time.